It was absolute devastation for Gentlemates the last time these two teams met. But you heard it from Mini. They have a new roster. The new players look really good. So any upset potentially today, you guys think?
Yes, potentially. I genuinely think so. As much as I was high on the BBL Hopium, I still think Gentlemates had some of the most exciting roster changes coming into Stage 2, especially with that pickup of Comeback joining the team. But looking at this map, Veto, Sunset is going to be selected by BBL, which could be...
Is this a bait?
I don't know, it feels like a bait in a way, but then when I was looking at Gentlemates' map vetoes the past 2 weeks, they also felt like bait, right? 1 week they banned Corrode, then they picked Sunset, then the next week they banned Sunset, picked Corrode. What do you think, Meg?
I just think it's really interesting here for Gentlemates coming into the first two maps. As these are both maps that they've previously lost to Foot on week 1. So I do think that they've hopefully cooked up some stuff, expecting these to be picked out in the map pool. I would like to see this go the whole way to Ascent, as we're yet to see BBL on that Ascent. So I do think that could be a really interesting one, as their win rate in Stage 1 was only 50%, so it could go either way.
They're Turkish, they'll be fine, honestly. I think, my feeling is they didn't want to mess about against Heretics on Sunset. You know, it was no point. But also taking into consideration BBL's strong points as well, it's going to be a very, very interesting Sunset. But after everything we've learned about Gentlemates, is I'm not going to believe in anything until they win the map. You know, once they have that scoreline in their fist, then I can
Not even if it's 12-0.
No, not even when, especially if it's a 12-0.
Okay, you know what? You're so real for that, but I can also see it happening on the other side, where we have seen BBL lose after having a lead as well, right? So both of these teams are notorious for it, so it'll be intriguing to see who ends up finding that lead to begin with. But looking ahead at Sunset, I mean, BBL, the last time they played this, they really struggled to close it out on that attack, a side that a lot of teams, as we've said, have been struggling with so far this stage. They managed to get a 6-6 half against Team Heretics, but unfortunately, it didn't end up really going their way. And then Gentlemates, again, as well, they struggled on their defense, right? They only won 1 out of 5 defensive rounds. What is that?
Okay. I want that thing in our hot tub.
Okay,
you reckon we can get that in our hot tub?
Yeah.
Surely.
Interesting.
Is it their debut?
I'm going to go ask him if he can put that in our hot tub. And I'm glad we showed Levin, because I think Comeback's journey really kind of mirrors Levin's right now. You know, coming to the league as the most exciting, one of the most exciting Turkish duelists, taking, you know, a tiny bit of time to fully warm up to the stage. But look at Levin now. It doesn't even seem like he's a rookie this year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on Comeback here, you know, coming into Stage 2. This is the time, well, the time to shine, really, because it's the last sort of moment of the year to really make your mark.
Sorry.
I want one.
He's distracting all of us.
We're being put off by this little guy.
I also want one. I think we need to go and steal it off the stage.
To continue your point though, Yinsu, like I like that you're raising Levin and Comeback in this head-to-head, because something that we've seen from both of these duelists, I think the past couple of weeks, especially more so with Levin throughout this year, obviously we've had more chances to watch him play, the discipline and knowing when you can go for that extra kill and when you have to rein it in, you know, just having the decision-making process to be able to, decide yourself, should you do that or should you not do that?
Well, let's take a look at Agent Select and see what we are going to... Oh, if you can't beat them, join them. There you go. Boom.
I like this. Mini's taking on the Deadlock. We've previously seen him on the Cypher. I like that. I mean, I'm a Deadlock enjoyer either way. I do think that they're becoming more and more valuable on that Sentinel role, especially on a map like Sunset. We're really sort of seeing the battle for the best Sunset Deadlock at this point, which I know Yinsu would definitely be
Batu, 100%, right? Not even a question.
We got some more players in contention for that now with this Agent pick, though. And I think as well, I don't... Why? Why does it? Why? I'm putting this one on JT. I think this is potentially JT, Gentlemates' analyst's fault. I think that he's just gone ahead and copied their homework, potentially.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you can't beat them, join them. I think other people have already figured it out for you at this point. But I love that it's Mini Deadlock. I really, really love it's Mini Deadlock. I think if it's anybody that you can trust to do this, it's him.
I also love that we've mentioned the Comeback sort of Levin head-to-head in here. We're going to have that Neon head-to-head. I think it will be really important from both of these duelists to kind of make their mark straight off the bat. I think I want to see them coming in and kind of almost making an example out of each other and kind of being like, I'm the better Neon and I'm coming in with...
And I'm the better Turkish duelist.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, there's so much like deep-rooted stuff here between these two, which is why it is such an exciting matchup. And of course, Comeback coming from that Turkish league as well. It's just, great matchup.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of competition, because I'm going to throw it over to Tufu, who was definitely not the best Turkish duelist. It's Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Yes, what an exciting game today. 0-2 for both of these teams, but today that changes for both, I suppose. A win on the board at long last. It's what they've been looking for. For BBL, it's a return to form. For Mates, it's all about survival.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of those chances for both teams to get themselves on the board, but here we have straight off the bat the head-to-head I'm excited for. Levin has been someone who came into the league this year, come back a little bit later on, and we're going to be talking about these two guys throughout the series. Both at times can, or for Levin, be a little bit inconsistent, and for Comeback, this is him facing off against, well, he was on BBL Pacific. He's facing off against BBL. So if he can come into the league and basically get rid of the parent company by sending them down 0-3, that would be one hell of a statement, and maybe even make them wonder if they made a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, a lot of people would have liked to see Comeback in that Tier 2 for a little bit longer, but this is his chance to prove that he belongs on that stage. What better way to do it than take on BBL? Come out with flying colors. It's time to get into the series. We're starting out on Sunset, Lotus, and then Ascent. Tom, looking at this pool, do you see favor for either team?
The thing is, both teams' map choices are interesting. I think Lotus is a very interesting choice for Mates. It's one I would actually have expected to see picked by their opponents. Sunset looking like a counter pick, but I'm interested to see if BBL are going to be solid on this map.
Already you've seen them bypass that utility. The wall broken, the move through market is found successfully, and BBL boots on the ground, but Mates have got reinforcements. Comeback on site for that first fight. Stun goes down, but it's Levin to draw first blood. He gets a second two with Comeback down. Now those players locked out by a smoke. And although the reveal spots a few, they couldn't deny the spike plant. The retake, 2 against 4 through the smoke. It's good, but Levin, he puts a pin in it. His third kill of the round. A sociable gets them across the line, 1-0 for BBL.
Yeah, something to talk about as well in this series is you might see a team get off to a hot start and be thinking, game over. That's it, done.
Done and dusted.
With both of these teams in the last couple of series, they've been choky as hell. Like go back to BBL when they played versus GX, 9-3 up on the third map, lose in regulation. That's definitely not a great sign, and I don't think you need to talk too much about the foot game that happened versus Mates, where they had a 12-6 lead and still managed to choke in OT. So it's definitely a talking point that both these teams haven't been able to finish their dinner. And probably both should have had a win already as well. In this round at least, not much invested at all for the side of Mates.
Yeah.
Kill or two would be nice.
It should be housekeeping for BBL, keeping that economy nice and healthy. They've got 2 pistols brought into the round, 1 player down, but the weapon to be recovered. I think that's a Bulldog on the floor. They don't want to lose much more. For now, at least, they're in that safe zone. Yeah, that probably could have been a little bit better on the paranoia. Kevic's taken 2. Now this is dangerous. It's already costly, but it could well be a round win for Mates. An immediate answer back. And it's Levin, full HP, Spike under his control, and I think most importantly, those weapons not in the hands of Mates just yet. Even in a 2v1 fight, he has the advantage, but how much longer will that last? The wraparound from Mates, the redirect, they'll recover these rifles.
That's clever from them. I knew that leveling up the playing field was going to be incredibly important.
The others on site.
They're not going to be able to collect, but maybe that means that Comeback can be the bait. They are going separately, though. Maybe hoping that they can find the information to get the trade. Never mind, Comeback's going to do it all on his own. That is a blunder and a half for BBL. Not only did they have a huge weaponry advantage, they had a player advantage as well.
Yeah, that's gonna sting for BBL. It looked like a solid start to the half. And remember, in the pistol, beforehand we highlighted the Levin comeback duel, and Levin was the one to draw first blood in that battle, but this time he gets his comeuppance. It's leveled up, and it was this. We didn't see it at the moment. Of course, you don't expect him to win either of those fights. Getting out with both, and a fadeaway shot
is all
of
ridiculous.
30 health. That keeps Comeback alive and allows him to find that final, the finisher, and an early stop to what should have been BBL's lead.
Yeah, like, I want to be very critical, but someone hitting that many shots with a classic is kind of mad, and then the Sheriff shot was genuinely ridiculous, but even still, 4v2, giving those 1v1 fights, it's definitely a mistake. Sociable, he had a gap. I still won that fight. I thought Vekash had him dead to rights, but never mind. It's kind of gone in their favor. I think we're getting a weird match here, Mitch.
You'd expect nothing less, really. Sociable going down would be the big blow!
His ult ran out as he turned the corner.
Rifle finds another ult down classic to land a kill.
Oh no, this game's going to be goofy.
A sea of rifles from Gentlemates. It's a 2v5. Rifles recovered by BBL. A save called early.
Go for it. You're going to win it.
Yeah. Well, they don't have the pistols this time, Tom.
Yeah, they do. It's secondary.
Yeah. Well, they want those
it's the
rifles
same
for
too
the next,
as well.
They might not get to save them. Yumpy spotted the save. He knows now that they've gone deep to the A site, and some of these BBL players will go hunting. Well, yeah. For now, it looks like Mates might get away with both rifles still. What a crazy back and forth to kick this map off.
Yeah, like, Sociable gets behind them, is spotted, but is spotted by a player who doesn't have a gun out. That player loses the battle as Sociable, for some reason at that moment, turns around. And then Sociable, while low, wins the next fight as well. Then you have Levin running in, thinking with his ult, but it runs out. Yeah. And he wins that fight anyway with a classic. This round makes absolutely no sense. It wasn't even an instant headshot either. Like, you kind of have to look a little bit at Cam and go, well, you knew he was there. And he had 33 health.
Sound sensor up.
2-1. Back to
normal, yeah.
Yep. It's ambitious.
Except for the fact that Mates don't have a full fight. But other than that, back to normal.
Gotta go.
What a start it has been. Levin having the ult on for round 3. It got them a bit of value. He took space, but it was the classic to find kills. This time the pistol in the hands of Mates is the one to trade back that blow and put BBL into a 4v4. They're focused on Vekash, but Yumpy still clears the corner. He takes down both players on site. With the wall up as well, the barrier mesh, there shouldn't be much of a way back in. Mates in a similar position to the previous round. This time, credits low on a few players, Vekash notably, but they're still going to throw the rifles at it, at least one of them. But once Mini falls, Kamek feels like this is too much to ask of him, and he will go for the save. It looked like it should have been a strong start from BBL. There was a little bit of a bump in the road, but it looks like they'll get their strong lead anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of like an unintentional dream scenario. Because although, yeah, you could be 3-0 up if you won your bonus, economically, this actually puts them in a better position than any of the other scenarios. I'd say if you ever do this on purpose, either you're the best team in the world or the worst. Like, yeah, there's no middle ground.
If you ever do this on purpose, your coach is getting fired. I'll tell you that.
No, but like, it's if you could do it on purpose,
oh yeah,
you could probably also 13-0 if you're that good.
Yeah, why bother?
Mates only have a 20% retake win rate on Sunset. Well, they did it a minute ago with a classic and a sheriff, so sometimes stats do lie. Then again, the average is 30%, so it's a hard map to retake on.
Without a doubt. With the rifles, it's proven to be. Mates back into things, though. Said there were credits low on one player. It results in an SMG, but a Stinger can be a mighty foe indeed. The rest on those proper rifles. The Stinger spam to start. That does a little bit of damage onto Magnum.
Poison's off.
For BBL, look at the safety net economically that they have. Lose this round, buy again. Lose that round, you could even buy again. And ults will be coming online as well. Sociable 2 away right now. Yumpy and Magnum open this one up, though. Ult's not needed. It's just the weapons in hand. They may have looked weak in round number 2, but that weakness, it's nowhere to be found here. Mini stuck with a Stinger behind the boxes. They might think with 2 picks they've cleared the site, but the reveal catches him. Still good for 1. Ult comes online. It grabs another. Damage done with the classic. And Mates are doing it again. This is effectively a 1v2, as it now very much is. Yumpy 70 HP and 2 players to find.
Did he just get delivered a gun as well? The player was grabbed at least. They've just got to try and work out where he is. Mini going walkabouts on his own. He's done so much damage. His classic might be the best in the world right now, and Kamek is the only man standing, but he will be able to get it done. The rounds that BBL are losing are the ones they should be most likely to win. It's been very peculiar, and I think a lot of it just comes down to, it seems like when they get in these advantages, they just go a little bit over-aggressive. Something I wanted to mention in the moment is that Levin walks into the site alone. then you have the solo clear, and then you have a second player solo clearing again. Like, sure, Mini has to do insane work to get that done, but he pushes together, can't do that.
Well, that's it. I mean, we saw it there, the replay, great replay from his perspective. You get to see just how much space he had, how much time he had. Now, that reveal didn't catch anyone. And the blind Hunter's Fury follows up, maybe just gambling that it would have a reveal or two, a bit of information. Now in comes the Hunter's Fury, clearing space. Sociable follows up onto Mini. Levin's gotten close, but he doesn't want to go alone. Waits for Profek on the TP up top, and they'll push this together, but a snake in the grass again. It's comeback, finding one. But this time they have that backup. They have the trades. They're not looking to let this advantage slip. And BBL, they'll get their post plant on A. And another 1v4. Last time Kamek ran away, he saved the weapon for the next. And that ultimately gave them enough to buy in and win the following. I don't think he's got much of a choice.
Spike planted.
But to go for the same play again, throwing himself at this one, with where the credits are at, would be playing against the odds, for sure.
I don't think there's any reason to go for it. That's also the second time as well that after a defeat, we've seen BBL just immediately punish the mid-hold. Like, I like the addition of the Hunter's Fury. They didn't have that last time, but just putting that in to cause disruption, and Levin very happy to execute off it. Like, although I feel like his play style is incredibly aggressive, it's also incredibly hard to play against. Gap has been found for Kamek to potentially survive him, but after getting a kill, he will be picked off. That's going to be 3 surviving for BBL. Again, like, you look at the rounds they're winning versus the rounds they're losing, it does feel like it's their own mistakes that have given away rounds so far. They're definitely looking the better team so far in this first half, and that's the reason a pause is coming.
Well, yeah, both rounds they've lost have been off the advantages given away, but you see the adjustment. You see them start to stack up, to take those trades. Profek being in that play, Levin waiting that extra 10 seconds so they can push together.
Sit down, come back, woo!
Oh! Comeback's getting flagged from the other side of the stage, and mates, they call a pause, realizing that the opportunities they've capitalized on were not of their own creation, and they need to start finding their form here on the defense.
Well, it's worth mentioning as well that I think many people, including myself, when Comeback was old enough to play in the league, was thinking, BBL could just take him to the main team. Like, it wasn't surprising. Obviously, you've got Levin, who is fantastic, but you even still look at it and go, could he play a Sentinel? Could he fit into another position? Because he's so individually sound that it feels like it's worth it. And giving a player like that away or selling him to another organization just seemed almost like a mistake. So I do feel like for BBL and also for Comeback, this is a sort of time of a point to prove. Like, can you beat the org that ultimately could have just had you in the main team?
You see here BBL's post-plant win rate, 50% compared to the average within EMEA of 70.
I can see why.
I think we've already gotten to witness some of the blunders that they've made, sometimes before the plant's even down, to be honest. We're coming out of this pause, mates, and they've got ultis to work with, but they don't have the economy, and this is something we mentioned. The way that the rounds have gone, it gave BBL that opportunity to buy back in the previous round, to fight for it. Mates are not in that same position, but they've already shown that those pistols are in the right place. They can find a lot of value, and I like the adjustment from BBL. Look at the control that they have. In most of these rounds, they will have already pushed up here. They will be going deep into mid. This time, they're sitting back and waiting for mates to make a play with those pistols, and when they don't see that play come in, it's going to be a player left on the other side lurking, and you can see that a drone was sent through, so it's giving that fake pressure, trying to drag the rotations away from spawn, and then the rest of the group goes together. This is the problem with the previous rounds. They gave those one-by-one fights. They're not offering that up here in round number 7.
Nowhere to go.
There.
45 seconds. Still plenty of time to play with. I don't mind Mate's initial plan was to put players in top mid. It's been one of their weakest positions so far, but even still, this time BBL are dealing with every single problem that stands in their way, and it is Mini and Comeback again. But I would be surprised if we see too much over-aggression here. Although Sociable wants to fight.
He does, but again, he has backup. If they flood in, Profek's there to help. And that's exactly what they do. They throw in the net to try to deal with the player close, to isolate him and flood into that space. And Profek standing slightly further back saying, no problem, man. I've got my buddies back. And with the pistols, there's no chance you're breaking that wall. Really nice stuff coming out of BBL. A good adjustment, but that pause from Mates, although they may have touched on the idea to punish mid-aggression if BBL made the mistake of going for it, the pause will mainly have been looking at this coming round, where they have ultimates, they have an op if they want it,
but that's the main
and a
thing.
full buy across the board.
I think having that operator, when your opponents have been like challenging for mid and constantly battling early, if you can have that opening pick fade away into a retake, as we saw from the stats, the post plants from BBL are not fantastic, especially if they were to go in with a disadvantage. I think as well, they've got to be a little bit careful of those ultimates. Like Sociable and Magnum. Magnum, especially if they're in a post plant, is going to help put things up. But again, it's this mid control, but almost just as a bit of a ruse. They've got rid of at least that early control. However, it's definitely looking like a B hit and a very peculiar ult.
Well, this is it. 11 was just the recon there. The drone sent through to find a target. The ult fires through, clears backside, but Kamek still hasn't been spotted. Now he has, managing to deal a little bit of damage, but he's going to have a lot of players swinging him. BBL learning from their mistakes. It's only Magnum isolated, but he had a snake bite to play with. Finds himself one. Numbers still good for BBL. Great shock dart from BBL. Don't know how Yampi landed it there with still 2 left, but definitely wasn't Vakash hitting himself. And a 4 versus 3. After breaking the wall, they walk into 11. There's still a player close and an op in hand. Unless Mini lands something, they might go for the save, but that could spur them on. Magnum deals with the op, though. Leaves Mini alone with next to no chance.
See, this round's so interesting from BBL. Like, obviously you see the ult pop from Sociable, and a lot of that was our focus, seeing like, oh, how's he actually going to use that ult for the back of the site? But it's more Magnums that intrigued me. He put his Viper's Pit down in mid and then just ran away. Like, he didn't even stay in it for a second. He just put it down and went, okay, I'm now going to leave. And I do wonder if that was almost just a decision of, okay, this is going to buy a few extra seconds where they're not running through middle. If anything, it's probably going to make them rotate towards the spawn. And then you look at the post plant that BBL were running. They were all aggro. They were all aggressive towards that main position. If that was the plan, it was incredibly smart.
I like the push from Mates. They haven't been pressured on mid now. They try to, they being fake pressure. They go in for the control themselves, take the fight to them, but losing out every battle they go for. In goes Prox though. He's given them a chance, but getting out of here is going to be tough. He was hit by the drone as well, so they know exactly where he's retreated to, and the fight impossible as he's boxed in with barely a pixel to move on. Yampi is on fire, and for BBL, that means dealing with this low by leaving Mini in a 1v3.
Was something to mention as well, other than the fact that the spike's down in the spawn, is that you go back to last week, and I think it was Yampi himself actually tweeted about how he felt like just the calls didn't go his way. Like, it felt like no matter what he was doing, things weren't going to plan. Now, the calls, I would say, I don't think it's the calls that have let those couple of rounds slip, but they've looked very decent in their decision-making. As I said, I think the way they played last round looked fantastic, but also just on an individual level. I think he's got to a point in this game where he's going, I can take these fights. I can put myself here. I can take this risk. And if Yampi's playing with that sort of confidence, that's a much bigger danger for the side of Mates. Mini, wow, 14 HP. He has a Sheriff. That's at least something, but I'd be very surprised if he gets anything more from here.
Spike planted.
Gives himself the best chance, hitting a net and using that time to rotate around, but he's been spotted. Conscious that even a bullet through the wall, through the smoke, it doesn't matter, he'll be going down. Needs to land the headshot, needs to isolate them. That's a lot of damage to Yampi. He's not able to eliminate him, and with a 3-piece for Yampi, just one away from the Hunter's Fury. 7-2. The attack side with a big lead here. 12-3. It's not looking to slow down if Yampi keeps up this performance.
Oh, he's definitely the player to watch. Come back on the other side, has just half his kills.
One enemy remaining.
While we're watching the replays, is going to be another pause. It's going to be another pause called by Mates. Both had to be used in this first half. And it's sort of what I was mentioning with the veto earlier, now kind of comes back into fruition a little bit. Like, over the last few months, Lotus is a map that is 4-0 for the side of BBL. Now, granted, a lot of those maps are incredibly close, like coming down to the wire. One of them was in like the EWC qualifier. One was just recently versus GX. So it's not like it's been a dominant map for them. And Lotus has also looked very good for Mates, other than their sort of like letting the game slip versus Foot. But going into that match, I would put it at around 50-50. So the fact that in the first map, they're kind of getting battered, like it literally, we've sort of put it down to the rounds that have been won has been some good individual brilliance for mates, but ultimately, they threw a 4v2 twice. Like, that's not something that I sit there and go, oh, I'm feeling confident in mates right now. And especially if it's not telling enough, their coach using 2 pauses within 9 rounds probably tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, the fact that we could see, I think it's one way to look at it. It could be 9-0. Obviously, the economy would work differently then. Mates would have had more chances to fight back. Yeah. But in terms of the game plans that have worked, BBL have been the ones that have given those advantages away or had the advantages converted on. There's been nothing to report back on from Mate's brilliance. And look at that. We've seen it on mid, but this time, deep push towards the B site. A lot of space taken, but the key thing is, he's not got the spike. And even the Omen that was with him now TP's away, deep into spawn. He is looking for an aggressive fight. So much control from BBL, having pulled that rotate to the B site, leaving Levin late. Even losing Profek, it's not the end of the world. They have that second level to the play with the ability to bring this spike all the way back around and go into the free space on the B site, leave some lurkers behind. The key player here is going to be Kamek. If he can find value around mid, but he's been spotted now.
But the only problem is, I feel like this is a backup plan because they got stuck by the wall. Magnum's done well though. You mentioned Kamek, he's actually the one to falter. And yeah, I guess Levin just sitting pretty has worked out wonderful. I think the original plan was for him to be a flank, but it's that mid-round adaptation from BBL that put them in a great spot, and the Hunter's Fury already dealing so much damage, he might get 2! Yumpy just continues to deliver.
This is it. The adjustment, the thinking on their feet, whatever Yumpy thought about last week's game, the calling has improved tenfold. 2 options in this play. Either Levin's finding value, opening B, dragging rotates, and they get A for free, or they can cancel and go back if Profek falls. The second is what they go for. Levin contained the space. He stayed in that tight corner the entire time, not looking to give away that space that he had bought for his team. And as a result, they find themselves a post plant. They get Magnum into this spot where he is now cutting off. I said Kamek has to be the key player because he has to cut the rotations. And instead, he's the one getting sliced up by Magnum and leaving this round in disarray.
The only thing I'd say, though, is that to counter that slightly, they have an advantage. And I think that's where I feel like the problems are lying at the moment for Mates is like, he doesn't need to fight that. They know they've lost that side of the map. They can play that 5v4 retake, but that doesn't seem to be within Mate's game plan at all. It really does feel like, let's just... Well, there you go. Their trade rate right now is 15%.
I mean, we even heard it from Levin. He screamed, stop baiting each other. I think for Kamek, he's caught in that position, though, because he's supposed to be the flanker. And then the play is changed, and he takes too long, or Mates take too long to identify what's going on. So he's in no man's land. And if he doesn't find value from there, the advantage is gone. And that's exactly what ends up happening. For BBL, they gotta be laughing right now. 8-2, rounds given to their opponents off 4v2s that they threw away. Beautiful calling from Yumpy. Great adjustment, even when the A game doesn't go according to plan. Now, the cusp of double digits at the half. Look at the economy of their opponents. Coming in here, you've got a Guardian, you've got a Stinger, but ults could help them out.
Quickly taking elbow control, but this is the stacked up site. The wall hindered them before, but the majority of it already destroyed. Come back in position. BBL are going to halt, at least for the moment. It seems like Yumpy's the one that wants to take contact. He's been so good, but couldn't quite finish his dinner. But they do now have no presence on the other side of the map. It feels like they're very committed to this. And so are Mates.
Working off the last round, though, right? They play that slow play, assume that Mates will now start to think, okay, they've rotated, let's ease up, but they haven't. They've stuck around, ready for the fight. The Hunter's Fury goes through, finds a tag, rocks, good for a double, and that has halted the play entirely. Great adjustment from Mates. They don't over-rotate, they stand their ground, and that's the first round we can look at and say, they got that done themselves.
Yeah, I think also just having the pit gave them so much control. Even though I think eventually Kamek ends up dropping it, it's just, you put that down, it's not really challenged at any point in the round. I think it became very obvious to them that this was a commitment to the A side. And at that stage, when you have that Fury available in the late round, it always looked like it was going to go their way. Solid stuff. And we've seen some pretty hefty attack sides in the past from them when they played against Pacific. Levin, though, looking to lead the charge again. This time, though, Kamek wins the opener. But, again, an immediate response, and he goes looking for more.
Yeah, Magnum's certainly feeling it. Sometimes you do have to sit back and play with your team, but when you're in those fights...
No, but I was looking for Kamek, though.
Yeah. No, but from Magnum, the fact that he goes out wide looking for another, it brings him the advantage. It puts him now into a 4v2. That swing good for comeback, but Magnum is there again. With the Viper's Pit online, it will be used to lock this round in. Of course, not going to save it for the next. Arya, Profex up close, Shorty in tow. 9-3 at the halftime for BBL.
Switching sides.
This was incredibly clean from their side, and it definitely feels like a lot needs to be done for Mates. We'll find out if they can turn it after the break.
To 3, a solid start from BBL. Winning the pistol, losing the follow-up, and still ending up here. You can't ask for a much better scenario.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the opposing side are struggling, and as you can see, a loss here for either of these sides. There's nothing definitive. Like, no team would be mathematically out, but for Mates, you have to bear in mind what's on the line. Not making playoffs is a spot where they're not just out of, they're not going to make it to champs. They're out of the league. Like, making it to playoffs gives them a chance in Ascension. Making it to champs keeps them in the league for sure. Right now, if they keep playing the way they're playing, well, it's not looking good.
They've got GX and Vitality to beat as well. Even if they do claim this series, you need to see them put their best foot forward. The opening for Levin, he's been great here in the pistol rounds, and it's no different this time. An in-zone flawless to kick off half number 2.
I'm going to do something that I don't know if Captain Cal will be too happy about. What is the fastest ever pistol round in EMEA? Or just fastest ever round in EMEA? Because that has got to be up there. You're talking about within, like, what, around 10, 15 seconds, the whole round is over? Like, that's as bad as it could have been.
128 on the clock.
That's as bad as it could be. You're like, right, guys, we got to get ourselves back into this. 15 seconds later, you're sat right back where you were, like, what's map 2? Map 2? Lotus, like Lotus.
Oh, this is fine. No doubt they said, we can lose the pistol, just win round 2.
They don't have a comeback sheriff.
Oh, yeah, well, then they've not planned ahead, have they?
Mini's going to have to ace.
It was Kamek last time, picking up 2 with a classic. By the feet. They're coming towards his site. Maybe a chance. No?
Oh, Mini's dead.
They flooded back in.
Comeback's
the wall
dead.
just spammed through, and they haven't even seen anyone. And they're losing their whole team. This is disastrous. That guy's with it all to do, and he'll get nothing. Bar the 1.
This is looking like all she wrote for map number 1. As said, at times these teams have been choky at finishing their dinner, but a lot of the time you'll see Levin have like a crazy half and then not be able to do the same in the second. It's been everyone. Like, Profec's bottom of the board, 9-6. Yumpy's currently 17-5. Like, it just feels like they came in today and were like, look, okay, we could have won the last 2 games. We're not losing 3 in a row. I feel bad for Mates that that's the team they need.
Yeah. A BBL 0-2 as well. you know that they have locked in on another level. And mid-aggression was a part of their attack. It's going to be a part of their defense as well. They've already gone deep. They've spotted a player, but not coming back. Unfortunately, he's lost procs. And in goes the swing! Levin feeling confident. Quite a fight for mates, though. They've kept it into a 2v2. Both players on full shield, so that outlaw, not as dangerous as it could be.
Yeah. The problem is, though, this is already quite damning. This is more of a bonus. Randy spotted them. He's got the information. He can now call for the rotation of Magnum, and well, you aim in on a spot with that Bulldog, and it's deadly as anything else. Thank you, observers. He's going to be waiting on the corner for anybody to round it. I'd bet he'd get one, because why would anybody be expecting someone to watch this? But he falls back, worried that they've gone back into middle. He had the right idea, but maybe just at the wrong time. Instead, he's going to fall back even more passive, make sure that he can maybe take one for free, and then just fade away. And again, they've seen them once more. That will call for the rotation, but he kind of needs to find one, and that's exactly what Magnum does. No need to overface, and now it's all on Vekaj.
He could have stayed aggressive and faced the push. Instead, he played it wise. This time he made a bit of a mistake, peeking by himself, but damage is done. Now that outlaw just needs the one tag. Magnum needs to be careful. He'll go down to just one bullet on the other side, but Yumpy is taking his time, and he's caught the timing. He's around here for free. They have no idea! And the death blow landed. That could be the map done. Around mates needed. Stolen away by beautiful play from BBL.
Hey, that's a round of pixels. Look at the start. The first few seconds, that's a pixel on the corner that finds a kill. Then a pixel that spots them rotating. Then a pixel that sees them again. Like, these millimeters are everything. And this is why we love Captain Cow. This pistol was the fastest round in VCT EMEA by 3 seconds. There you go.
Good read from you, brother, as well. You come straight in with that. I think that was the fastest round we've ever seen. Dead right. Kayak's pistol ace on Haven in stage 1 was the fastest before this.
Yeah, they've beaten it by a lot as well. Like, the next one will have to be like an immediate seize nade that kills everyone.
Revealing area.
Well, you know, it's one thing to try to motivate teams in this position, but the coaches can't even do that. They've already used all their timeouts. They've lost comeback to a net from Sociable. He finishes off his dinner with a clean opening. BBL, 5v4.
Shocked up. Nope, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. You know, you call some things out that are good, and other times it just doesn't hit.
That one did. That's the shock dart you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
From Vekaj. Great read again, Tom. You're really on it today. That's going to at least even things up, but Levin gets a freebie. There's no one to try to trade. And when they do go together, they run into Profek. Kamek, 1v4. He's been in this position a couple of times, and every other time he went for the save. It wasn't a choice this time, and there'll be no saving map number 1. 13-3 for BBL. A dominant showing on their pick.